What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Quick Disc Podcast, episode number 50. That's right. We've actually managed to get a year's worth of, almost a year's worth of podcast in 2 years. Not bad. No fault of anyone but my own. But we're here, and after reading recently that the majority of podcasts last no more than 7 episodes, I think it is noteworthy that we really are sitting here at number 50. Also, that's pretty lame when someone gives up on a podcast before 7 episodes. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Today, we are going to discuss the Haunted Mansion in our attraction series, and then we'll have an open floor conversation about which land we would scrap and how we would retheme it. But Dinoland USA does not count because it's all too easy, and I feel like all 4 of us would have been doing it. So, with that said, we're going to start with the Haunted Mansion. We're going to go a little more structured this time around. What you like, what you don't like, and the hardest part, I think we can all agree on, is what we would retheme it to if we were absolutely forced to. Which the answer should be nothing, because no one should ever want to touch the Haunted Mansion. But we were going to do it just for the sake of the podcast. So, we'll begin with Skook, and she can tell us what she loves so much about the Haunted Mansion.
So my love is a pre-COVID love. So I do enjoy the initial entrance into the Haunted Mansion, where you are stuffed into the stretching room. I love all of the puns, get to the dead center, no dead space. Like I really liked how they kind of pulled in, the creepy kind of ambiance right from the get-go, and you are in that stretching room, which is cool. And I'll admit, it took me a couple of times before I'm like, wait, how did they do that? And I figured it out, and I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. But I do love that initial entrance, and they just kind of set you up right from the get-go. There's no big long story or intro. You're just kind of shoved into this room, and you get the explanation when it's already too late. You're already in for the long haul. I do kind of miss that in this now COVID time. We've been twice now since they've reopened, and that actually has become my hate in the Haunted Mansion, because now if you go, especially during the day, it's a bright sunny Florida day, you walk in, and before you had the stretching room as a chance for your eyes to adjust, and you don't have that now because it's already stretched, and the queue just kind of brings you along that outer wall, and so your eyes don't properly have a chance to adjust, and you're essentially blind. Even with the ropes, I kind of held on with one hand, to guide myself through, because I couldn't see where I was walking. I had a similar issue with Pandora. I think it was Flight of Passage at one point, because we had just kind of bypassed so much of it, and then you were in a super dark section. You couldn't see, even with the bioluminescence, but neither here nor there. So it's kind of my favorite part, and also now, because of what's going on with COVID, my hated part about the Haunted Mansion. I don't know if you guys have experienced that at all. Yeah.
All right. Sarah.
I would say my favorite is definitely the queue, how interactive it is and everything like that. You have the tombstones, the things that you can push and stuff like that. And then in the ride, I don't know why, but I just love when you're overlooking the ballroom and you see all the ghosts there and the chandelier, they're there. And then that part where you drive by the mirror and the ghost is sitting on the side of you, and it's doing something different every time. I think those are my favorite. My least favorite, I would say, when you're leaving the stretching room and everyone is just herding together and pushing each other out of the way, and just keeps getting smaller and smaller, and nobody cares about anything. They just want to be the first one up there. I would say that's probably my least favorite part about the whole thing.
All right. I would say, and that my favorite part of the Haunted Mansion is by far the scale they're able to achieve in the ride, where it does. Obviously, you're not going through the house, the facade that you see as you're walking into the ride, but just it really really makes you feel like you're in that building, and it really makes you feel like there's so much more that you're not even seeing when you're going through the ride. Like there's hallways and empty corridors that are just, remaining unexplored, and like what could possibly be down there, and like it just kind of adds to the uniqueness and I guess the scary element. Not that I'm really scared at this point when I'm in there, but you guys know what I mean. And then I would say the least favorite thing for me, and this is just nitpicking because there's really nothing I don't like that ride too much, but the graveyard scene at the end, it's fine, everything's fine, the music's great. Just the little heads that pop up from behind the tombstones. Maybe we could I don't know, get something a little more less carnival-y for that. But I mean, it's not really anything to write home about. But for me, if I had to really pick something, I think that'd be the first thing that I would scrap. Johnny, what do you got for me?
I think my favorite thing about is just the overall, the time they took to think of a story that is throughout the whole ride. It's not just where other rides are pieces of things, I guess. This is like you hear that main story in the stretching room, and it just follows. You just go through the whole story of the ride throughout the whole. There's no dead space, there's no like that, like in Frozen, how you have those certain parts of the ride where you're just kind of going through nothing. There's nothing, like when you're in the Haunted Mansion, every single part of that ride is something. There's nothing, like you're not going by just a little dark spot. Whatever that dark spot could be, there's something there. They used like every inch of the ride, I guess, would be an overall thing. Like there's nothing, and it helps that the Omni Mover points you where they want you to see, but there's nothing of I don't know how to explain that. There's no there's no nothing. It's always something, I guess. Is
space, I guess, makes sense. Even though there is space ways that you just don't realize it.
It's not like a stage to stage.
Yeah, it's not like a lot of
yeah. It's like you're actually walking through a house, room to room. I would say the only thing if I had to change, say something I don't like, I'm not a huge fan of the room with all the staircases, I guess. I think they could have done something else there. And then the last couple times we've gone, I feel like that room's been darker than normal, because once I'm almost through the room is when I finally adjust to actually see all the staircases, where at first, like when you first went on it, you could see each individual staircase or whatever projection, whatever they're supposed to be, you could see them better. But that would be my only gripe, I guess.
All right. I would say that I kind of agree with that too. Just jumping on that, because that's like those staircases are kind of a straight influence from what are those, the Eschler paintings that they call those. The artist that does that work, and it just kind of feels like it's like, all right, you gave a nod to that, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. But I don't know. I'm kind of with you. It probably out of everything feels the least like it belongs there, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's cool still. I don't hate it or anything, but like just because the house is haunted doesn't need to have, stairs going nowhere. And and you don't even have David Bowie, juggling glass balls while he walks up and down them. So, if you're gonna have probably a little bit before Sarah's time, but if you're gonna have stairs like that, you're gonna have Jarrett, the Goblin King, in there. Anyway, on that topic, let's move over to retheming this ride, and let's let Sarah start off that unpopular topic of, if we had to get rid of the Haunted Mansion and make it something else, tragically, what would we make it?
All right, I thought about this, but then I realized that it doesn't really match the area.
It's all right.
So, but probably I was thinking Alice in Wonderland, because they have that track, and it can be going down into the rabbit hole, and like that part where you turn around kind of and you're going down backwards, like that could be you like falling down into the rabbit hole, and then it's like all of Wonderland. And then in the stretching room in the beginning, it could be like the story of how you're shrinking to go into the door where she gets into it.
Not a bad idea. I mean, I guess you could just like sort of rearrange the park a little bit and just make that kind of, you know, fit into like an extended part of Fantasyland down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Skook?
So I also struggled with how to retheme it. I did kind of think a little bit about the location. And I know that we're getting Splash Mountain rethemed as something from Princess and the Frog with Tiana and the riverboat, and I kind of go along that line. But I thought of kind of a New Orleans, like I don't know how to say it, like almost like a witch doctor. And I was thinking about the witch doctor villain from Princess and the Frog, and I was thinking about kind of the witch doctors that we pulled from Pirates of the Caribbean and kind of those kind of things, and thinking maybe we could do something on that ride where you've made a bargain with somebody and things have gone tragically wrong because obviously you're a naive good person at heart, and so you're trapped in this like weird world, and it's kind of the experience of and you see kind of the underworld as you go through. I did like how Sarah was saying, where you turn backwards and you're going down backwards like that. I kind of thought that could be, you know, kind of where you're brought your initial drop into this different world. And you could kind of keep the same track and the same motions. Obviously, you could change the track up so it's not identical to what it is right now. But I was kind of thinking along the lines of that kind of witch doctor voodoo type place, and it would kind of fit in with where it is. But obviously, the front needs to be changed.
Johnny?
I think in keeping with the whole the land it's in, just go. You could make it more of a. Well, you could go two ways. You could go like a serious, like kind of historical, like Revolutionary War type thing, like going through each I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of nerdy with the history part. Or you could just along those same lines, is they had that the whole Muppet thing where they had the Muppets up in the building and they did that whole interaction. To go full-fledged Muppets, turned into a whole Muppets themed revolutionary time period dark ride. Keep the Muppets, you know, to add more Muppets into it, because that little show is, I mean, it always got a decent crowd, and they need to do more with the Muppets, because I don't know, Muppet Vision, just having that as the only Muppet thing is getting a little old.
Yep.
Sam Eagle would be so happy with that answer, Johnny.
Well, I'm trying to keep with the whole, you know, Liberty thing.
Sarah, when I say Sarah, I mean Skook. I'm going to pre-sale you tickets to my park right now because you're going to absolutely love my retheme of the Haunted Mansion.
Uh-oh.
I am going to take, because now it's a Disney property, I am going to take Hamilton and I am going to turn the Haunted Mansion into a house. And I am going to, much like they did in Japan with Beauty and the Beast, I'm going to have this whole thing where you ride through scenes of the Hamilton musical. And I just picture, like, when you get to the ballroom, Angelica's going to be singing Satisfied, so you're going to have that over-the-top view that you get in the movie. And that's going to work itself out great. And then as you're, like, I don't know when exactly, like, the intro song would begin. I guess maybe right when you walked in. And then, you know, obviously you're gonna have some short versions of when there's some skipping around, but you'll get you'll get the Alexander Hamilton intro as you're kind of queuing up. Maybe even have an actor kind of step into the stretching room and do the whole Lin-Manuel Miranda routine of, you know, on Alexander Hamilton, and then just like nitpick and choose with, you know, my own personal selections from the musical to go in there. But I'm borderline obsessed with the musical, so I'm gonna, I know, and I'm not afraid to admit it. And so I'm gonna have to put that in Liberty Square, and of course, King, at least one of King George's songs are gonna have to find their way in there, and you know, it's just. I think if you actually conceptualized it like into detail, it could probably be a pretty cool ride.
Yeah.
The music itself would just be worth the ride, but yeah.
And a lot of what's there, you could, if you've seen the Disney Plus version, it could easily adapt, like the ballroom scene and
Oh yeah.
the graveyard. Well, technically the graveyard, there's a lot of duels, people die.
Yeah, and that's what would happen there, because that would be towards the end, and then you would have Hamilton and Burr, you know, singing their little
Dueling
song.
it out.
Yeah, and then maybe as you just have the whole all the cast lined up like they do at the end, and there's certain positions all animatronic form as you go out with the final outro song.
Now, question: would you do a traditional animatronic like we see, like in the Hall of Presidents?
I don't know what you would be able to do, because like how much of each song are they going to sing, or how like when's the loop going to cut off? Because
You'd have to blend it too, though, depending on what snippet you get.
No, because I mean the show does that anyway. So like there's an element of each song in every song that
Right.
you always slip in there. So you could have like, I think that would work out really well. And honestly, like at least for a little while, I think that would be a popular attraction in the park. So I don't know. Just thought it'd be something.
Hamilton might. I like it.
It fits into Liberty Square, and then, you know, I don't know how much of the exterior of the house you even have to change. I guess if you want the model a little bit out to his house or whatever. All right. So let's move on to the next segment. What would you just like? What land would you like to see go, and what would you retheme it? And as I was kind of reorganizing this meeting, I was thinking if we have a little time at the end, we'll quickly all throw out our ideas for a Dinoland too, just because whatever. It's kind of, and everyone I don't think anyone. I want to. If there is a person in the world that likes Dinoland USA, I'd love to have a conversation with them. But anyway, let's retheme the lands, you know, and we'll go over those. And I think it's specific with this topic. So I guess you can take rides out, put rides. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't have to be a reskin. So feel free to just go nuts. And obviously, like I told Skook earlier, pavilions count as well. Pavilions are lands, pretty much, more or less. So, all right. So, who's gonna be brave and pick the land and retheme first? Johnny, why don't you?
I'm gonna go first. Okay.
Yeah, step up to the plate so Sarah will forget by the time it's our turn.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go. It's in Hollywood Studios.
Oh,
I'm just gonna go full-fledged. We're changing. We're it's more Star Wars. Well, maybe not more Star Wars, just a little bit. We're gonna take the whole Grand Avenue, Muppet Vision, Courtyard, all that, and we're just gonna we're gonna move it. We're gonna move some of it, but we're gonna take that whole
to the Haunted Mansion.
To the Haunted Mansion. Yep. The Muppets, yeah. No, we're basically what I think they should do is swap. You just take Muppet Vision and you take Star Tours and you swap where they are. Where you can still keep Muppet Vision, and if you want to upgrade it, whatever, and you put that towards next to the Backlot Express, because that whole Muppet Vision and their little like their gift shop kind of fits that whole. I think it themes better over by Backlot because it's got the whole like you know, in Muppet Vision when you're waiting, it's the whole like storage area, and then you in the gift shop is like the whole like, you know, it's more like the boxes and stuff that more fits towards Backlot with the behind the scenes type thing over there. But that's not the big, that's just the one. And then I think you should take you put Star Wars where Muppet Vision is now, but instead of keeping that like Endor theme, I think we should change it to a full-fledged like spaceport, and it's really like you're going into on a Star Tour, like you're going on the, you know, the whole, you're experiencing the whole what the ride is supposed to be, and that way you can exit the ride and you can choose. I mean, you could choose. Like, it could be two exits. You can choose to go back into the Hollywood Studio regular part, or you can choose to actually where you landed, but two, and you can actually walk out of the ride into Galaxy's Edge. So it seems you get more of that like realistic type feel. And I think, you know, they have the pizzerizzo over there, you could maybe you could get another star. I mean, I guess you could make it like a airport, like food court type of thing. You mean like that whole area could be like that whole, what a spaceport food court would look like. So you still get the restaurant over there, and the whole, like, when you're walking into Galaxy's Edge, that whole, like, I guess it's supposed to be like a Streets of America thing. I just don't like that transition at all, where that is to going into Galaxy's Edge. So maybe that's a place where you can integrate oh my god, I'm drawing blank. Like Launch Bay. You can maybe bring that theme over there, where you can have, so you can still have the meet and greets of the older characters before you go into Galaxy's Edge. So I don't know, that's I think you just, instead of having Star Wars sporadically all over the park, just kind of get it all in that one back section. Because if you want to go to Star Wars, you just go back there. You don't have to go, it doesn't have to be filtered throughout the whole park.
That makes sense.
I guess.
I get
Something
it.
along those lines.
I got you. Sarah?
All right. So I thought about Magic Kingdom, wipe out Tomorrowland. I don't know what. Not really a fan of that.
Ooh.
So and extend
Looks mad. I can see
extend
her face.
Fantasyland into it, and like Space Mountain in Paris. Space Mountain was Star Wars themed, and it was so cool. But I was thinking like it could be kind of like Aladdin kind of thing. Like you keep the dark stuff still, and it's like you're flying over the Arabian Nights kind of thing.
Wait. So what are we calling the land now, though?
It's gonna be like an extended Fantasyland.
Oh, okay.
And then
New Fantasyland.
Yeah, a new, yeah.
And then what was the other one? Oh,
Oh,
Buzz Lightyear.
Yep.
Change it into like Brave, and like you can be like shooting with the arrows or something like
Wow. All right, get the girl power in there. I like that. I like
Yeah.
that.
Just because like Disney Paris, they had something for every single Disney princess, and I feel like Disney doesn't have that really here. So even like they had like, it was like a little house or something, and it was just like a little walkthrough, and it was just pictures, and it told all of the stories of the princesses. So you could like throw one of those in there. They had a maze of like Alice in Wonderland, like something like that. It doesn't really fit, but like Stitch could like turn into like Big Hero 6 or something, like in the middle, like building him and stuff like that, and kind of like tell the story.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do to Carousel Progress? I don't even know if I want to listen to this.
I don't know. That's like where I stopped. I was like, I couldn't figure like stuff what else to do with it. Like keep the People Mover because I love that damn ride.
Yeah. Oh, well, you have to retheme Tron now too, because it's gonna be
Yeah. So it's kind of like just to kind of just extend it and make it more of like the Disney princesses and stuff like that. So I feel like there isn't really enough of that, like the newer princesses like Moana and stuff like that, and extend all of that into there.
Can I jump into this? Like, so this is New Fantasyland. This just popped in my head. So if we redid the Carousel Progress, we have to redo it somehow.
Hmm.
Could we do the different stages of Mickey Mouse and his evolution over?
Yeah,
Disney
that'd be a good
animation?
one. That's a
I
good
mean,
one.
it actually would be a good one, but I hate the idea of not. I mean, I don't. Carousel Progress is just like, I love that.
I do.
But of course, we forced your hand to do this. Although you do seem like you're not a fan of Tomorrowland at all. Like you would actually do it if they let you.
I don't know. It's like I think it's like my least favorite in Magic Kingdom, like that area.
It is kind of like in dire need of a little.
Yeah. Like Stitch has been
Love.
closed down for so long already. And then there's Buzz, and they already have Toy Story Land.
Buzz, I haven't done a video on the channel in a while, but I was thinking last night I'm probably gonna do one. I was watching something on Buzz. I for whatever reason I just never liked Buzz Lightyear. I almost never go on it. Like it just, I don't know what it is. It's not like bad or anything, I guess, but that's what I don't know. That attraction just doesn't do it for me. And now it's like way outdated. Like the lasers don't even work right, and I suck at it too. So that's another reason why I hate it. Anyway, that's actually a pretty good one though. I like the idea of getting Brave in there and you upgrade the weapon. You know, the weapons.
Yeah, I was like trying to think of like something that's like shooting, and then I was like, oh, the arrows and Brave.
I feel like with that building, the thing I was watching was kind of talking about it. I think with the building that's in, is it borderline like not even? It's like just barely big enough to even house a dark ride. Like I feel like you're doing a lot of weaving. You know what I mean? Like they're really doing the best they can to utilize that space. It's not huge, but anyway, Scook, what do you got?
So we had chatted briefly about it was okay to take a pavilion.
Yep.
In Epcot, and so I'm well aware that there is plenty of space that we could just add a brand new pavilion. But in retheming, I was contemplating. I feel like as beautiful as the China pavilion is, if we kind of did a little retheming there and we put a Greece pavilion in, I feel that kind of goes in with when you come into Epcot and there's Spaceship Earth and you thank the Phoenicians and you talk about Rome burning and you talk about all these things and you talk about the major role that the Greek played. And I feel like you should have that, especially since it kind of started off with that like edutainment center and whatever. So, I mean, obviously with the water right there, you can have some of the Greek boats. And if you really needed a ride based off a movie, there's Hercules you could pop in there, which is a little old for some of the kids these days, but I still love that movie.
Yeah, me too.
I do. And so there's a lot you could put in. There's food and there's language and there's history and there's I mean, there's so much you could do, and the dancing, and you could tie the culture in very easily. And I'm sure we could find something, some beverage for the adults to drink around the World Showcase to kind of replace Johnny's Tipsy Ducks in Love that he's look at his face. He's so mad at me right now.
I'm very against this.
I do love China. That's my favorite one.
Go ahead.
I just, and I've kind of written some things before about like, I kind of feel like China doesn't get much attention in terms of, they have like a circle vision. I cannot remember in any of the trips when I was a kid or even recently as an adult, I cannot remember there ever being a big pull for it. Like people were like, oh, we just saw the circle vision. No, like people kind of whoop, go back. Never. I've never seen it. Like we walk through the garden and if there's a festival going on, there's usually something hidden in there. And right now it's currently, they're using the open space in front of the building as a cue to social distance for Frozen. That is the most people I have ever seen in that pavilion. And they aren't even there. And I feel awful. I do. I think it's a gorgeous, I take tons of pictures every time I go because it's so beautiful. I've never once set foot inside that building.
Yeah.
I know that there are people who love it and it is a beautiful place, but I just feel like if we're trying to pull more people into the parks and spend more money and spend more time, then maybe, you know, kind of replacing what's there or adding on to it. Because I know there's, and we, you know, people paid money and sponsored it, and there's a whole, you know, process behind the pavilions that are there. But if we're just trying to pull people in, we can reskin and it's money's no object. That's what I would go.
Yeah, like I said, I've never seen that movie. As a matter of fact, the only circle vision I've ever seen in Epcot is when I'm 6 or 7 drinks into around the world. Really, to be honest with you, I don't think is Canada circle vision too? Yeah, maybe I did go in that one once.
I saw it briefly when Martin Short did the voiceover for it. I don't know if that's still the most current one because I've never been back since.
No, they changed it.
That's the old
for
one.
about 10 minutes, and that was it. And that was like, nah, we're good. We left.
Yeah, I mean, they'll get there with the World Showcase. There's a lot of, we've talked about this before, there's just so...
There's a lot of work going on in Epcot that's prolonged because of COVID, and there's a lot of stuff, you know, it's getting some work done finally. But
if you're not eating or drinking, there's not a whole lot going on in the World Showcase right now. I think we can all agree on that for the most part. But yeah, I like that idea though. I mean, I don't have any hate and or love for the China Pavilion. It's just kind of, really have too much interaction in there. Johnny, what was you have a gripe with this? Getting rid of China?
Oh, I just really like that drink. I don't want that drink to go away.
That's what I'm saying. We need to replace the drink.
All right, well that's fair enough. All right.
That drink is wonderful.
And I feel like Greece is always represented when they do the festivals, when they do, food and wine. There's something there.
Mm-hmm.
And we just went for Festival of the Holidays around Christmas, and they had, a representative booth, and I think it would just fit right in.
Makes sense. All right, so I was gonna do Star Wars. I was gonna retheme the land. The one thing but I really wasn't. I was just going to suggest that Johnny and I talked about this about 2 or 3 weeks ago, that I personally think they need to just. I love it. I like all Star Wars. There's nothing I don't like about any of it. It all works for me. But I just think that they didn't. They should have themed it based upon the original 3 movies, or even the prequels and the original 3 movies more. Or I didn't do it at all really. And I just would have. I was gonna say change the attractions to fit that more, but I'm not going to say that because Johnny already had us just Star Wars. So what I'm going to pick instead is Futureland. What is it? West. This Futureland West is Mission Spaces and stuff, I believe. Is that
West is where imagination is.
Oh, I'm sorry. So Futureland.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Epcot's upside down.
Yeah, that's right. I was trying to think of that. I always try to remember it and I forget. So I just think at this point, and they're already making the move. And I wonder if this is what's going to end up happening anyway. Is so you got Guardians in there, and one of the chances that's not going to be awesome. And then, so take Mission to Space, which I think is just an absolute waste of space. I'm sorry. I just think it's just blah. First of all, the idea of going to Mars in the first place is just lame. Who cares anymore? We're going to be doing it soon anyway. It's not going to be that exciting. It's like we had Mission to the Moon in the 50s and 60s. Well, then we got to the moon, so who cares? Sooner or later, we're going to be landing on Mars in the not that distant future. So who cares about going to Mars? I mean, it's cool to go in real life, but who cares about pretending to go to Mars? So let's take that. We got two other rides in that area. We got, 20-something movies in the Marvel Universe now. And let's face it, there's rules right now with the amusement park licenses and everything, but it doesn't really seem like Disney's going to heed too much attention to those rules. So, put Guardians in. I don't know. Slap. Who else? What other adventure do we have that goes to space? Let's get
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, let's get Captain Marvel in there, or let's get No, actually, that's really the perfect one. Let's get a Captain Marvel ride. I'm not going to get into details about the story, whatever the storyline is. Let's shoot into outer space as Captain Marvel. We'll make a slower version that they already have for the kids, and a quicker version for the adults. and go from there. Although you could make an argument that ride system needs to go all together because I just think it's way too intense for Disney. But I'll play it. I'll keep it simple and just assume they're going to keep it and go Captain Marvel there, and then. I don't know, Test Track could be done 1,000 different ways, Marvel themed. It could be Nick Fury trying to escape a firing squad in a scene from Avengers. It could be, pick or choose. I mean, you could even be, going back to Mission Space, could even be an Iron Man themed ride. Either way, I say, they're saying the hell with the idea of Epcot in general. Anyway, with Guardians coming in, take those other 2 rides, theme to Marvel, keep some kind of educational underlying thing going on in each of them, and let's move on and have an area of the park where people actually want to experience, like large amounts of people actually want to experience. So that's where I'm at with that. Before we go, quick, Dinoland. Off the top of your head, we'll start with Skook. What can we do to it? We won't do anything major. Let's reskin dinosaur. We'll just reskin what's there. Disney needs to do it. They don't have a lot of money. They want to put cardboard cutouts out. What do you got?
Wait, Disney doesn't have a lot of money. Secondly, cardboard cutouts. It rains every 20 minutes in Florida. Stop that.
Well, Primeval World had them.
And look at Primeval World. You like literally anything.
What would you like to see?
I love dogs, and I would love to see something with just like 101 Dalmatians, just puppies everywhere.
Okay.
If I could literally walk into a climate-controlled room and be stampeded to death by licking fluffy puppies, day made.
So that's what dinosaurs going to become?
No, but I'm on the spot.
Maybe dinosaur could be like each set is like got Dalmatians and you're like in Cruella's limo and you're just kind of like racing through town. Maybe. All right, Johnny, what do you think? What can you do to Dinoland? On the cheap. What can you do quick? You have a $10 million budget. You got a reskin dinosaur.
$10 million. It's not.
All right, you got $50 million. That's more.
I don't.
You know,
I think
$1 million.
I think they should just do Dinoland just better.
I love Dinoland.
I think the whole thing of Animal Kingdom, the dinosaur part fits in, but it's just they did it on the cheap to begin with. So I think they should invest a little more money in. I mean, I don't mind the dinosaur ride, so I don't think you need to. I mean,
I agree with that.
You need to change, a couple of, transition spots and docks. You could always add more to that, but the rest of it, they just need the whole fair in a parking lot theme is stupid. I mean, they could. I don't know. I think they should keep a dinosaur element to Animal Kingdom, but just get rid of.
All right, so maybe you upgrade it then. You could just do that, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I agree with it. It's weird. Dinosaur is a good ride to me. But the rest of it just makes it.
Yeah, don't get like off the shelf rides. Like invest in create your own rides instead of the spinner and the cheesy spinning roller coaster.
Disney loves a good spinner.
Yeah, I don't. So they need to get rid of that.
When they were trying to woo J.K. Rowling and to get Harry Potter, they wanted to put it was like one like lame-o, I think it was like a Buzz Lightyear kind of style dark ride and a spinner. So imagine like what you have for Harry Potter right now in Universal, but you would have got that instead. Like, ugh.
Yeah, no rides that go in circles. It makes me sick.
I don't like that either. But it's not even that bothers me. It's just
it's cheesy. It's just cheap.
Not, you don't like because they were thinking. I think they were thinking about doing that when they had initially announced Mary Poppins. I think they were going to do some kind of like lame covered carousel type thing in there. And how disappointing would that have been to get another attraction, the Will Showcase, and then it be like it's like when you go to Canada Lake Park and they have they basically have the scrambler inside of a tent.
Oh, inside the tent thing, yeah.
Let's just go. Thanks. Anyway, Sarah, what would you do to Dinoland?
I do like dinosaur, but like everything else is just awful, honestly. So I wouldn't even mind just like having that completely torn down and never seen again.
Right. What do you put there?
Kind of going off what Sarah said, like 101 Dalmatians would be like really cool, something like that. You could add like Lady and the Tramp in there, and they kind of just like all the animal movies.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the original, like the classics, are all animal based.
Yeah.
Bambi, 101 Dalmatians, Lady. Like there's so many animals they could. I mean, obviously it's not dinosaurs, but what about adding the good dinosaur?
No one likes that one apparently.
Well, no one likes the existing Dinoland either, apparently.
That's very true. Maybe we could they could get their hands on the rights to Land Before Time. They actually might even have the rights to Land Before Time, for all I know. I don't even know.
I think didn't they get that with Fox? I think.
They might have. It might be on Disney Plus.
I was gonna say, I think it's on Disney Plus.
I think they got it with the Fox thing.
Well, Johnny's looking it up right now, and if it does, that's exactly where I'm going with this.
I have Disney Plus radio.
Give me Littlefoot, or give me Death. Actually, I was thinking about theming it to Hamilton.
Land.
Every park gets a Hamilton section.
Not mad about it.
No, it's not on Disney Plus.
Or they could do like a Lion King thing too. kind of like put that in there.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing is like, the only thing that would be difficult is figuring out. I wouldn't be that difficult to sat around and thought about for a while, but you just at that point you just have to retheme the dinosaur ride, unless you wanted to go the whole route and just say tear it down. But I think that ride system and stuff's too cool, so you can probably, I don't know. I mean, I guess you could just be like Simba and the Stampede.
Yeah.
Dinosaur ride.
Then you run the risk of, you have that whole Africa part, and you have Festival of the Lion King, you have kind of things over there. So now you're spreading it out again, and then
All right,
you have.
fair enough.
I mean, it's cool, but
She squashed your dream, Sarah.
Yeah. Just
Fine.
shut down.
She stomped on your dream. There'll be no Lion King in Dinoland, USA. I don't even know what I would put in Dinoland, USA. You know what? I'm gonna be wicked cheesy here, and take the easy road and just go. You know what? I'm on board with the Indiana Jones idea. Turn it Indiana Jones. Have it as an excavation site, maybe right out of Raiders of the Lost Ark when they're trying to find the Ark of the Covenant. Put a couple camels in there or something. And, I mean, the rides, I mean, obviously you just put the Indiana Jones ride. But don't put like a carbon copy of Disneyland. It has the same ride system and everything, but like switch something out. Have it not be, you know, what is it, the Temple of the Forbidden Eye or whatever it is. And I don't even know what it is.
Something like that, yeah. It's something to do with an eye.
Change that a little bit. Maybe take it out of like I don't know, just make up a new one or whatever. But or something that has to do with dinosaurs, or something like that. Or something that has to do with Raiders of the Lost Ark if you're gonna go that way. And then I just think with that is the safest thing ever. Like, I don't know how you can go wrong.
I mean, I love Indiana Jones, and I kind of am a little bit sad that he got a stunt show spectacular that has not changed since I've been alive.
It's 1908.
So
Oh.
I don't know. Like, I think that would be cool. I think he would get the older people in, and I mean, the newer movies they've done may not have been as fantastical as the original, but
Well, we'll see with the new movie that they're making,
yeah.
how that does.
I said this 100,000 times. I'll say it again. Indiana Jones to me is like a lost opportunity, like in the sense of since The Last Crusade came out till that piece of crap came out in 2006. All those years, why didn't they either A, make more movies in the 90s with Harrison Ford, or B, say, you know what, this is going to be like a James Bond type thing, and we're just going to recast Indy every X amount of years, and he's just going to have, because I mean, you can make one good movie after another. I mean, there'll be some bad ones, of course. There's already been one. And some people even argue, too, about with Temple of Doom. You know, I like that movie. But, yeah, and that could be a great property. I have a feeling Disney's going to do that. And you might even get, like, some kind of Disney Plus show in the future, too. But I think they could really cash in on that property. I think that property is a lot more popular than they really people realize. Like, Sarah's generation's not really not introduced into it yet, but like I bet you they like it if they did something relevant with it. Like if they had it with like Chris Pratt or whoever they rumored to do it instead of 95-year-old Harrison Ford coming back, for example. I love Harrison Ford, but I mean his time has passed. It's not indie anymore, and they could just have a ton of adventures. Maybe move some things up to the 60s and 70s and stop having. Doesn't always have to be centered around Nazis and things like that too.
Yeah.
Which are not exactly Disney friendly to begin with. No.
If Shia LaBeouf didn't go crazy, he had a whole franchise to himself.
I don't know with Shia LaBeouf. It's so funny that
I
like
was a huge fan of Even Stevens, so he'll always have a place with me.
he wasn't a bad actor, but it was so funny how he was like the it guy at that time. So that was the choice they were thinking about going with, and then within their own movie they were like, nah, he's gonna take his hat back.
Yeah.
We're not going this way.
Well, he
Swing with CGI.
swung with the monkeys, yeah, yep.
God, that was bad.
Ruined it.
Oh, that'd be funny in the ride if you could do that. But yeah, I don't know. I still say Indy's the way to go. And like Sarah said, actually they haven't changed the stunt spectacular since any of us have been alive, but it's still pretty good. Like I'd like to see him change it and make it even better, but it's not a bad show.
No.
I don't know.
And even though it's not air conditioned, I mean, it's cool enough. You got
it's
shades,
covered.
big fans, and still
I done it recently. I liked it. Every couple of years I'll go. I don't think it's bad. You look at it and say it could definitely be upgraded, but it's not bad.
Maybe they'll surprise us, and they've been working on something this whole shutdown. No.
Yeah, I could see them just like closing Dinoland USA and they just leave it abandoned. They don't even open.
Is George of the Jungle with Brendan Fraser, is that a Disney movie?
What is that?
The Brendan Fraser version of George of the Jungle?
Jeez.
Could they throw that in there?
Oh my God. Did you just make Dinoland USA worse than it was? Well, I take it you like George of the Jungle.
George of the Jungle is on Disney Plus.
Oh, Sarah's solved the mystery. Watch out for that tree.
Land Before Time is Universal, so can use it. It's going to be over at Islands of Adventure.
Let's just put Wakanda over there. Black Panther all the way. All right. Anyway, we're all
Now we're all like wheels are going.
So we gotta get out of here, but Wakanda's awesome. And on a parting note, they're not gonna recast Black Panther, so that's gonna be interesting to see how that goes, huh? Kind of weird. Well, not. I mean, it's an awful situation, but I figured they weren't gonna put that down. I wonder if they're gonna somehow work Michael B. Jordan back in and like somehow have him like take over the role as of a new Black, not being the same guy, but being the new Black Panther kind of thing.
Well, if they open up this whole like multiverse thing they're doing, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, WandaVision's awesome. You guys watching that at all?
Is it? My parents didn't want to watch it, but me and Grace have been trying to get them to start it with us.
It's wicked good. Have you seen any of it?
No, I haven't.
Be warned, the first 2 episodes seem way out of whack, but just keep watching.
Yeah, episode 4 and 5 is like 4 is where it really turns, and the last one's good too.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Like it's gonna be good by the time it ends.
Yeah.
All right, so, all right, let's get out of here. Same thing every week. Like, share. You know our handles by now on social media. Some are active, some aren't. Comments on YouTube, comments on Apple. We're on Pandora now. I was excited about that. iHeartRadio, and just waiting for Amazon to approve us. For some reason, that's a longer process, but we are under review right now, so we'll see. But yeah, so basically every major podcast platform now, and obviously YouTube. And we'll see you guys next week. Maybe we'll have another contributor next week, possibly. Scoop.
Hopefully.
Once he gets a hot date.
He's got the date. It needs to go well.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. See you guys next week. We're out of here.